I'm not going there to die. I'm going to find out if I'm really alive.
Hey guys, how's it going? JJ Wilson is here. Welcome to another JJ Starwind Corner episode 59. So I found myself a little article here from the Visual Capitalist. And this article is basically highlighting the milestone that the world in which we live in is about to make. So on November 15th, 2022, the Earth's population will officially be at 8 billion. That's right, 8 billion people. So give me one moment as I pull up the article. And I'm just going to go over it little by little for you guys. Waiting for it to load. Okay, so visualize the world's population at 8 billion by Nick Rotley. So yeah, if you could check out the graph, it's a neat little graph here. The world's population at 8 billion people. So it has all 6 continents in which all human beings on this earth live in. And you can see just how dominant certain regions are. Asia's in red. Africa is in orange. Europe is in teal and blue. The US is in a more clear blue. And South America is in green and Oceania is in purple. So you got those colors there. So let's go down the article. So in just 48 years, the world's population doubled in size. It jumped from 4 billion people to 8 billion people. Of course, humans are not equally spread throughout the planet, and countries take all shapes and sizes. The visualizations in this article aim to build context on how the 8 billion people are distributed. And so briefly, I'll show you guys the top most populated countries. We'll just do up to 50. It has 235, but we'll do up to 50 just to give you an idea on how big these countries have gotten. And they are massive. And then I'll go by continent. We'll go by region. So we're looking at Africa here. Now they say in this article, Africa right now is at 1.4 billion people, the second most populated continent. But by 2050, it's going to double. It will jump almost to 2.5 billion people, which is a lot. And that's an awful lot of people in the continent, but it is big. So that's Africa. Next up is Asia, 4.7 billion people in 2022. That is by far the biggest continent on the planet in size and population. And here's the interesting thing. So China right now, for centuries, has held the top spot, being the most populated country in the world. But they're saying by next year, India will take over that spot. As it stands right now, China has 1.45 billion people. India has 1.41, well, in the millions, but 1.41 billion people, okay? But by next year, India is going to surpass China because China is, I think I heard by 2025 it's supposed to peak and then it's supposed to drop due to the low birth rate. And then there's everybody else in Asia, which doesn't even compare to the other two countries. It's crazy. So look at Europe. Europe right now is at 750 million. The population is twice the size of the United States. A century ago, Europe's population was around 30% of the world's total. Now it's down to 10. And we know certain parts of Europe right now, they're under pressure by a certain country called Russia, because they want to reestablish boundaries, but that's a whole nother video. But yeah, Russia right now is the most populated country in Europe, followed by Germany. And you can see some of the other European countries in this graph as well. Next is North America. North America is at 602 million people. The United States is the dominant country in this field. Canada, from what I'm hearing, is growing pretty modestly. And the United States is not supposed to drop in population due to migration. Basically, people from other parts of the world still wanting to come here, given its position as the top. Now it's the top currency in the world because the euro dropped, as well as the British pound dropping. So it's pretty much in parity with the US dollar. And we kind of know why that is, so I don't want to get to that part. But yeah, that's why the US, even though it has a low birth rate, the population is still going to maintain itself due to immigration. And then there's South America. Right now it's at 439 million people. And Brazil overwhelmingly has the dominant position as the most populated country in South America with 216 million people. And then there's Oceania, which is where Australia is. And this is interesting. Australia is still the most dominant country, being the biggest country, but it only has 26 million people in it. And you see how big it is compared to other countries. It's quite astounding, really. And then you look at New Zealand and Papua New Guinea, not too far from Australia in population. Now here's the last question of the article. When will Earth's population hit 9 billion? The next global population milestone, which is the 9 billion mark, will be hit sometime in the 2030s, which is not long from now. Wow. So you're talking about extra billion people within a decade or so. And you look at the graph, they're saying by 2099, the Earth's population will be over 10 billion people. So even with all the little skirmishes that are happening across the world, like, humans are still being born. They are repopulating and they're adding on to the Earth. So what are your thoughts about this? How big of a milestone do you think this is for the Earth to have 8 billion human beings on it? Approaching 9 to 10 billion people in the coming years. So that's wild right there. You guys let me know what you think in the comments. And I will see you all next time with episode 60, hopefully.